And we're live.
Hey, what's up, guys? So we're running a little bit late. Hey, it's John Benson here, back for day 4 of the Inbox Branding Hangout, and I'm here with my friend Yafat Cohen. She's here, I think.
I am
Yeah.
here. Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
So hopefully you're seeing us in the right place. And if you're watching us on Facebook, then you know where to go. live.emailcopypro.com/live. Because we have tons of awesome content for you today. And we have a few prizes because some people twisted our arms and said they want to get access to Jay Abraham's video that we offered yesterday. So we haven't really decided what we're going to do to give it to you, like what you guys have to do.
We're to decide on the fly. Today's casual day here in my house.
Exactly.
Yeah. T-shirts from the gym and yeah, it's casual day, which is cool. So hope you guys are doing well. We're going to dive into the content here because today we're going to talk about the I in Epic Email. Epic Email, again, is engage, promote, inspire, and consume. And the I is inspire. And inspire is all about content. There's 3 ways you can inspire somebody with content. We're going to talk about 3 of them. And I'm going to give you 9 of my, or 8 of my, I think it's 8 or 9 of my best subject lines for content email as a surprise bonus. Is the way I'm going to teach it today, as a matter of fact. So you may want to be taking notes, or at least get the download for this if you're not in a place to take notes. So you want to tell people how they can win copy of email, get a gold membership inside Email Copy Pro?
Yes, and we also need to put a little caveat on it, I think. Maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow. But how do you win? How do you win? Super simple. Let me share my screen. This is fun. Okay, so right here, where you are looking at our page right now and watching us, and we see that Jim has finally, his week become less busy and he's joining us. So awesome. You're commenting. Hey, Headway. And you're commenting and you're interacting, and that's really all you need to do. Right here on the bottom, if you want the most points, right here, oopsie, you see that you have your own unique URL contest. This link will give you about 300 points when you share it, and your friends and colleagues, anyone who really want to make money with email, joins us, creates an account, and join us. And now I see that Anyway is number 1, and I think it's James behind, and people are catching up. So these are top 5 players. If you want to win Email Copy Pro, you need to be in this top 5. I am way down on the bottom. So I'm not going to win anything, but that's okay. You guys can. So comment, interact, and prosper. There we go.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I'm going to share my screen now so we can dive into our content section here, and we'll get cranking today. So,
and as you're doing that, let me just say hi to what happened? There we go. You know, we have a lady that wakes up at 3 in the morning in Israel every day to join us.
well,
Helen.
Thank you for that. Thank you. And good morning.
And good morning. So we'd love to see you on the Hangout. Actually come in and say, I know it's 3 in the morning. Maybe you don't want to put your face on camera. Forget it. Don't put your face on camera, but come say hi. It'll be great. So hello, Vancouver and Phoenix and anyone who's joining us. Awesome. Let's dive in.
Okay. Can you see the screen okay?
I can.
Awesome. So today, like I said, we're going to be talking about the I inside that Epic email system. Engage, promote. That was the last 2 days. Then inspire. So inspire is all about content. And again, the 5 winners of Email Copy Pro, just so you guys know, that's going to be at the end of day 5. So let's dive right into it. There are 3 steps to creating what I call inspiring content. Now, before I dive into that, let me just say that all content that you create should be one of these 3 levels of inspiration. And I've actually put them in the order I like to send out content as well. So inspiring someone to do something is, you think of in terms of like maybe an Anthony Robbins or like a cheerleader kind of thing. That's only one facet of inspiration. If all your content was rah-rah, people would unsubscribe from you pretty quickly, unless you're in the rah-rah business, of course. So what we want to do is tap into 3 different ways of creating inspiration. And the first way is not what you might think. It's curiosity. Curiosity actually inspires someone. Now, in this case, we want to inspire them to open your email. That makes total sense, right? So level 1 of inspiration is opening your email. You want to be inspired to open your email. See, we're already off the tangent here. It's not just about rah-rah, obviously, with curiosity. Level 2 is connection. Connection. This is going to inspire someone to read and respond emotionally to what you say, to respond emotionally to you as the author of the email. And the third is commitment. So these are the 3 C's. Commitment is committing to a micro commitment, a click, or a macro commitment, which is to purchase something. So purchasing something we covered yesterday in promotion emails. So this is, by the way, the reason why we put inspire third, rather than, you would think, well, you should do all this before you do this. No, you want to hit what's called your hot list first. So engaging your list, like we talked about on it was a couple of days ago now, engaging your list comes first. And there's only 2 or 3 emails inside of a good engagement sequence. You just want to inspire just enough inside engagement, just enough curiosity, just enough connection. And you go, hey, I've got something that you may need. You don't want to drag someone out that is actually hot to get something that you have to offer, or they need something right away. This is for the folks that did not buy. This is the sequence that they get dumped into, which is probably like going to be 95% of people, roughly that many people. If your cold traffic is going to be more, like 99%, right? So you want to dump them into a sequence to where you're building rapport. And you're going to start with curiosity, you're going to go into connection, and then you're going to finalize with commitment. And that's going to take you right back into that promotion sequence. So these are the same steps that you would use to date someone, okay? Think about if you meet somebody for the very first time, you want to pique their curiosity, right? That's a very good technique if you're using, if you're a guy or girl, you want to meet somebody as a single, you're going to want to pique their curiosity. If you're going to be boring, you're out of the game right away, right? After the curiosity is piqued, either that's through how you look or how you smell or the phrases that you say that pique his or her curiosity, then you're going to go into connection. You actually have to bond with somebody. That's obvious, right? And then if you connect really, really well over a period of time, you might end up in that third stage, which is commitment, okay? So think of it as in terms of like you are dating your prospects. You are dating people that have not purchased your product yet. And in this case, the goal isn't to marry them. The goal is to make them into a customer. So this is pretty simple stuff, but it's very important that you know these 3 areas of inspiration. Curiosity being number 1. I'm going to give you these subject lines. The number 1 reason people fail at blank, and blank is whatever you want to say. Fail at internet marketing, fail at dating, fail at marriage, fail at dog training, whatever your niche is. And you'll see, I start putting in niche and primary goal. You'll see what I'm doing here in the subject lines to come, and I'll explain what each of those mean. But you can also say the number 1 people fail at business. So I wouldn't think of my own niche as business, even though I am technically, of course, in business. But I might send that out to my list. Number 1 people fail at becoming an entrepreneur. It could be anything. So that is a curiosity begging headline. And if that's in the subject line, these are subject lines that we know work real well. The second one is how primary solution solves blank. Now, you're probably wondering, what is primary solution? Well, that's Email Copy Pro terminology. And let me explain what primary solution is. Primary solution is the unique mechanism behind your product or service that makes your product or service unique and effective. So in other words, if your product is Email Copy Pro, then the primary solution isn't Email Copy Pro. That's the name of your product. And this is where people miss the power of what we're talking about here. The primary solution is what drives, in this case, Email Copy Pro, to be so effective at creating emails. Well, one of the reasons there's multiple primary solutions that we have. One of them is persuasion triggers. We called them, we talked about it yesterday. How persuasion triggers solves email opens and click-throughs. How persuasion triggers solve making more money online. So you can make that equation work however you want to work. But now notice how persuasion triggers I would put in quotations. So because it's a unique term, it's something that not everyone knows. Or how inbox branding solves making money online. Or you can change the word solves, by the way, to cures. And I don't use cures unless if it's a medical thing, of course, because that would be, you don't want to use that word. But cures is good, solves is good, opens the door to blank. Any of that will work in that subject line. But the curiosity element is in the terminology used for primary solution. So if you saw how persuasion triggers solves your email marketing woes, you might go, well, I don't know what persuasion triggers are. Exactly. So if you're going to open the email, I've already got your curiosity. If you're not going to open it, then you're not curious about it anyway. And so it's either way you go, it's a win. So that is primary solution. And the third one under curiosity is, what do these niche, whatever niche you're in, what do these internet marketing success stories do that you don't? Again, a curiosity-driven subject line. So just put your niche in there, whatever your niche is, and talk about the success stories that, Mary does this, Bob does this, and George does this. Are you doing these things? That is a great content piece. Now, we're going to go from curiosity to building connection. Now, I talk a lot about rapport. So connection and rapport are connected literally at the hip. And this is the phrases I like to use. Now, this would not be in subject lines, by the way. This would be, I'm a lot like you, is the format of the email that you would think through, okay? Now, again, if you have Email Copy Pro, this stuff is written for you. But if you don't, this is why I'm going through the training, write an email that is saying, hey, this is why I can relate to you. This is why I believe I can relate so well to you. I am actually a lot like you. I wasn't always blank. I wasn't always a successful author or internet marketer. I used to do this. I used to work at Wendy's. You tell your rapport story so that you're building a connection with your prospect. They want to feel like they can relate to you, but that you still have a level of expertise that they don't have. So that's very, very important. Okay, how Mike went from X to Y is a subject line connection. Now, you might think, well, hold it. How is that connecting to them? Because actually you're asking them to connect to this Mike or Martha or whomever you want to say. And X to Y went from obese to thin, or went from poor to rich, or went from, whatever your before issue is to whatever you want your customer to be after they become your customer. How he or she did it that's the connection. So they're actually connecting to this person. They're connecting to the idea that they can do it too. If Mike can do it, or if Molly can do it, I can do it. Does that make sense? That is a form of connection. So here's one of my favorite subject lines here. Invitation, an entire community of internet marketing success stories. So, or dog training success stories, whatever your success stories may be. So that is a very powerful subject line. Invitation, and this would be what I would send out to go to a Facebook page, a Facebook group, join, or it could be your final connection email to where you actually say, if you want to join this community, buy my product here, or you can get my free thing here that dumps them into a community-driven email sequence. So that is the connection section of this. And after connection, you're going to want to start going into commitment, okay? Commitment. Now, I'm going to show you micro commitments, and these are subject lines. So take this internet marketing quiz. You might have seen an email like this from me recently. Take this email profits quiz. We created a quiz to tell you how well you're doing with your email profits. That's called a micro commitment, okay? In other words, it's not a big thing, but it's something they still have to commit to doing. They don't have to pay for it, but it's still a commitment. You see how we're slowly building building toward the actions that we want them to take through the whole purchase sequence. So take this blank quiz. Again, it's a click, and that quiz can actually take them from the quiz to something to buy. Now, here's another subject line. The one thing every internet marketer winner I know has in common. It's the one thing that every winner has in common. Okay, so this is a content email, obviously, with a micro commitment action that would be embedded inside that email. So you would want to say somewhere in there, like, go check this out. This is where you would start doing a soft promotion. Go see my sales page here. Go read more here. Send someone to an article. Again, it's important that you get that click. You get a micro commitment click. And finally, this is one of my favorite subject lines. Be sure to read the PS. And this one I call a micro open. Okay, I'm getting you to commit to something by opening the email. But in the PS, as we talked about, I believe it was yesterday, inside the PS, I'm actually going to ask for a call to action. PS, I really think that you are an ideal fit for blank, name a product. Go read more about it here. And you take them to a sales letter, video sales letter, or sales page. That is how that works. So notice the different levels of commitment. One is to take a quiz. So it's a click to a quiz. One is literally just a great subject line to get someone to open an email that would have some sort of commitment inside of it. And the third one is actually a micro commitment in and of itself. Be sure to read the PS, because if they open that, they're doing exactly what the subject line says. And that's a really great subject line to send out. But you can't use that subject line all the time, obviously. Use it, once a month, once every 2 months, and you'll be golden. Okay. So unlike yesterday, I remember to do this. So inside the Inspire Epic email system, here's the third rung of that Inspire. Now we've gone over some of the email types already, but this is just the list of the ones that we have inside Email Copy Pro right now. We have a quiz. obviously, because we just talked about take this so-and-so quiz, and the emails that you would want to send out post and after the quiz, or pre and post rather. Reviews, that's something we didn't talk about, but it's a great PS. Sally has got awesome results using Email Copy Pro, and here's her review. Social media, we talked about, that's the community of success stories. That's how we brand social media. That's just one way to do it. Stories, we've talked about, like how Mike went from X to Y, or how Sally went from X to Y. Testimonials, that's very akin to reviews as well, but reviews can also be a professional review. Like Evan Pagan says this about Email Copy Pro, or Perry Marshall says this. And testimonials can be more like Sally, the user, says this. And then finally, tips and insights. Tips and insights is by far and away the most content that you'll send. It's just exactly what it sounds like. It's tips to how to do something better within your niche, and insights into what makes your product and your ideas better than the rest of the people out there. So again, this is inspirational content. It's not meant to be a hard sell. It's meant to be a soft sale. So the sales come in mentions and PSs and things like that. The promotional emails take care of your hard sales, which we covered yesterday. Now, tomorrow, we're going to talk about the consumption emails, and that's in case someone bought from your level 2. In your promotional email, they bought. You want to make sure they actually consume your product or take action on your service. Otherwise, they're going to be a one and done buyer, and you don't want that. So that is the inspiration sequence inside Email Copy Pro, inside the Epic email system. And I'd love to hear from you guys and see how you would like me to answer your questions tonight, what questions you do have. And we're going to, once again, inspire you to come on and join us live on the Hangout. You can come on audio or you can come on video, whatever you prefer. And everyone who comes on will get a copy. Because we announced this late yesterday. It was our fault. Now we announced it early. If you come on, you'll get the copy of Jay Abraham's Sell Anything video that he and I did together at my last mastermind. So it's a very insightful video from Jay. Is known, by the way, as the godfather of marketing for a reason. He's been around a long time. He's written some of the most successful ads in the world. He's done hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. So great video to check out. And Jay is also just a super nice guy as well. So anyway, that is the tutorial section. So we're going to bring you on for some conversation here.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So refresh the page, and right below the video, if you're on Facebook or on YouTube, you want to come to the link that you're seeing on your post and come to speak with John directly. So refresh the page. The link to join us on the Hangout will become active, and you guys can come in and ask any question that you want. Helen says she is very inspired too. Cool. And Oscar from San Francisco is here, and Antonio has a question. Now, Antonio, do you want me to read that question, or do you want to jump on and actually dive into this with John? I think you should dive in. So try to come in. If you have any issues, I'll ask the question. So as we're waiting for people to listen to what we say, because we have a little bit of a delay in the broadcast. Mm-hmm. There we go. Then I have a little question for you first, John. So as people are going through the inspiration, you're talking about micro commitments, right? Mm-hmm. And the micro commitments, like you said, it's not a purchase. It's just like a click, or, go read the PS or do something, answer a quiz. So if someone does that, how do you have a follow-up that separates those who take the action and take the micro commitment from those who don't?
You should, in an ideal world. It depends on what the commitment is. Like if it's a quiz and they don't click on it, you can send it unopens and do an unopened sequence. Like, hey, I noticed that you didn't click on this. Do you want to do this again? But it's difficult. You have to go in and do that manually inside your ESP, inside your email service provider. So yeah.
Ideally, when people are creating the sequences, whether with Email Copy Pro or without, what you want with Email Copy Pro, it's super easy, and we'll dive into that, I'm assuming, right? Because we have entire sequences of what people should email. Mm-hmm. But if you're not using Email Copy Pro, if you're learning today and you're trying to apply everything that you're learning during this time right now to your email, you can start seeing results. If you're doing that, then someone takes an action, and then from there you should tag them or put them in a different list, or send them to a different sequence, or have a follow-up that shows you those who took action and those who did not take action, right? And that's something you said, I believe, was it day 1 or 2, where you said, hey, I move people from 30 days to 60 days to out of the way.
Right. Yeah. So those are people that don't open an email and don't. There's two different ways of doing that. You can segment people who don't open the email at all, and people that don't open it after 60 to 90 days. We just move out of the list because it's just like I said, their email changed, they passed away, whatever the case may be. They're not interested. But if they don't click, that's a different story. That goes into a re-engagement campaign, which we talked about.
And that's something you said, I believe.
That wasn't me. Okay, there we go. Someone else here was doing was replaying us and trying to join us. So okay, so if you guys want to learn about those follow-up sequences and all that stuff, I don't know if we'll have time to dive into them when we're doing the demo of Email Copy Pro. But if you have any questions about what to do next and how to move people from inspiration and they're taking the micro commitment and they're actually acting on it, what to do with them then, come on in and ask, and we'll talk about it. So hey, Rick, let's see if we can unmute you. There we go.
Hey, Rick.
Hi. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. So I do have a question about what you were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
When you say something in a subject line or even in the beginning of an email and it says, "I'm a lot like you."
Right.
When I read things like that in an email, I wonder, well, how the hell do you know? You don't know who I am.
Yeah, the exact words I use is, again, that was a framework. I said I will say things like, I'm probably a lot like you. I use a lot of like open-ended things in my own copy and in Email Copy Pro, obviously, because we wrote most of the copy. So yeah, I never say I'm a lot like you. I say, I believe I might be a lot like you, or something to that effect, which is
right. Oh, okay.
That's how you bypass that psychological. Yeah, you never tell somebody how they feel, or never tell somebody like you may be feeling X, Y, and Z. Yeah, that was just the framework that I use. Yeah,
otherwise it makes it sort of like you're making an assumption and.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Yeah. No. So the other question I have is when are you going to decide who wins the contest for who you're going to do the email with?
You know what? That's a good question. Yafat and I were talking about that, and to be honest with you, we kind of got carried away on other stuff today, and I forgot to figure that out. So I'm going to figure that out after this call. And it is related to your comments. So that's one thing we know for sure. Like we talked about, like why should you, if you're an Email Copy Pro customer, why is it awesome? If you're not, why do you think that you would be ideal for it? Those are the two criteria. And then the rest from there, it's just going to be on my judgment, to be honest with you. It's a little bit subjective, needless to say. So
yeah.
Great.
No, I made a comment. Should I make another one?
Well, I can't tell you what to do, but yeah, I can't. I wouldn't say one way or the other. I'll put it that way. But no, we appreciate your comments. It's just we ask people to play the game and to play it with authenticity. So if you have a comment on something, you've been very gracious with your comments. So that's awesome. But yeah, of course, if you want to say something more, knock yourself out. So
great.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Hey, thanks, man.
So one of the things that you just brought up, Rick, was great, and kind of relates to what we talked about yesterday, which is the difference between the wants and the needs, right? So if someone tells you what you need, then you're not happy about that, right? But if they kind of tapping into the wants, that's a little bit more convincing. Am I on the right track, John?
Right, exactly. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, you're on the right track. Yeah. Sorry, guys, I'm still pretty stuffy headed today, so you guys have to bear with me a little bit. So sniffling a lot. So.
So maybe we cut it short a little bit. So hey, Cheryl, how you doing, lady? Let me get you in there. There you go.
Hey, Cheryl, how you doing?
Never better. What about you?
I'm hanging in there. It's I got a little bit of I think it's a cold. So whatever it is, I've been wrestling with it. So
sinuses.
Other than that, yeah, I'm doing good. So
when you're out there in the Pacific Northwest, don't they have a lot of things blooming right now?
They do, but as far as I know, the only allergies I have ever had in my life were in Austin, Texas, when I lived there. So I'm hoping that's not what this is for sure. But yeah.
So let me ask you. I want to ask you. Some of the stuff that you just presented was very good, and it got me thinking that, so within Email Copy Pro, like just Richard's last thing. So you provide like a category, like a theme. So like you said, like I'm a lot like you. So that would be sort of like the theme or the feeling or the emotion that the email will carry throughout. It's not so much that it's a blatant statement of I'm a lot like you, but it's you get the sense and the emotions and the feelings, and so that when the person gets down to reading the PS, they feel totally understood by you.
Oh, right, exactly. So sometimes it's worded extremely, like you wouldn't scream at you. Like it would sometimes it'd be worded like, you know, I remember when I first got started in whatever niche it is, and you say, you know, and then you would type in, obviously, because we don't know that. You know, I didn't know which way was up. I did blah, 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 blah. You know, a lot of things has changed. And so you're fortunate to be in my life where I am now, you know, and then that could be the only thing that you say in there, but that's subconsciously saying, I'm a lot like you, because you're describing a situation that's probably closer to where they're at than where they want to be.
So there are two, may I ask two more questions?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay. So do you tackle like the theme, like, you know, let's use this one, I'm a lot like you. Mm-hmm. So do you try to just cover one point where there may be a similarity, or, you know, like, well, you know, I may be a lot like you because I leave my smelly tennis shoes at the door and I make sure that the table is, you know, I mean, do you try to stay within one vein, if you will, or do you try to bring up 5 different points of how we might be, so I get that sense at the end of it that we're a lot alike?
That's a user discretion thing. Some people write like short novels when it comes down to this section inside Email Copy Pro. Others just say, you know, I went from struggling to this. They keep it really short. Personally, I like to think about when I do this is how many things do I share in common with the people who were just getting started on my list, or how many people do I share in common that maybe they're not just are they just getting started, but they've never seen any sort of success at all online. So I think of it more in that way. And so there may be 2 or 3 things that I'll say. I'm not going to make it too wordy myself. It's just, again, it's to convey a feeling.
Right.
Now, in a sales letter, it's a different story. A sales letter, as you know, I talk about building a whole nightmare story. We actually have a nightmare story built into Email Copy Pro. We actually, it's a little surprise we were gonna tell you guys about next week, but you can actually generate an entire sales letter inside Email Copy. So an entire 6,000 word sales letter. That's how much copy this thing generates, and it would have the entire, you know, more of an entire nightmare story that you would use. But
you know,
so
I mean, I'm drawing similarities because I have a really in-depth personal knowledge, understanding of the Accelerated course.
Mm-hmm.
And so to draw a comparison, like, I mean, like this is like a kid that loves words being able to go to a word candy store because, you know, like it's all there. And the simplicity, not that I shouldn't say it, simplicity, but if it's anything at all, like the Accelerator, it's like, whoa, because the Accelerator, I mean, I was able to produce some VSLs and present them to people who knew me well, who wanted to buy what I had to sell. I mean, that was like, but that was all a tribute to you, the words, the structure, Accelerator. So I can just, the sugar plums are dancing in my head right now, thinking about.
Oh, thanks. Well, as far as, so Accelerator, and that's been like a standby for marketers for the last 6 or 7 years. Mm-hmm. And it's still just, you know, it's still the top copywriting course on the internet, but it's really cleverly disguised inside software. It's actually, as you know, you can go through and you can literally click and choose your copy, similar to what you do here. And obviously you have to put in you can click and choose certain copy. Then we say, here, write this on the slide, right? Email Copy Pro is far more sophisticated. It's literally, we take you by the hand through every little thing that we can think of, because believe it or not, a 6,000 word sales letter, which we generate, is actually a lot easier to write if it's one. In other words, if there's just a static and we've got so many X amount of choices, than to write emails. And now let me give you guys the math, because this is going to blow your mind. Like, I'll talk to hundreds and hundreds of people every single time I talk anywhere. And everybody's going, wow, you know, I mean, I'd put like thousands of dollars into writing a VSL or writing this, but I'd never, you know, I put thousands of dollars in an email. I go, you know, I charge $1,000 an email. That's what I charge to write for somebody. So if you hired me and said, write a 10 email sequence, $10,000.
Yeah.
So that just to give you the context. Now I'm an A-list copywriter, but even like low-level copywriters will charge several $100s an email because that's just what it is, what it costs, right? And you're not going to get the same results, but still, you can understand that would add up really quickly, and you wouldn't be able to reuse those emails unless you just waited and then you just send them again like after a couple of months, right? So that's what the industry was bearing for A-list copy. So yeah. the complexity, and this is what's really interesting, is that would get you 10 emails. A sales letter will work for you for 6 months to a year, right? Emails will work for you once, unless you can rewrite them, which Email Copy Pro allows you to click a button and rewrite them. But the point is that yes, it has to be fresh all the time. So the data fields inside Email Copy Pro, there's far more than there are inside Accelerator, because we have to think of content, we have to think of all those 4 elements inside Epic have to be covered. So but the simplicity of it, as far as like going through it, it's still click and point and choose and type in your stuff, and it's got all that in common with Accelerator. Of course, it's just there's a lot more data, because emails by default mean a lot more data. But this stat will really blow your mind. So I'll talk to people, like I said, they'll pay 50 to 100 grand for a video sales letter, and they'll think, I can never write a sales letter. It's 6,000 words, and I'll ask them, so how long is your average email? The average email is about 300 words. If you do the math on that, you're writing 18 sales letters a year if you're emailing your list as much as you should be. So it's like 18 times the amount of copy. Right. I've never written 18 sales letters in a year as a professional copywriter. So that's the level of it. So naturally, Email Copy Pro had to be way, way bigger as far as to be able to do that. But we've broken it down now in version 2.0 to where you can literally take it an email at a time. And when you put in the data, it just stores it in your niche database. And so next time you pull up the email, you'll say, oh, I've already got half of it done. I just have to fill it. Next thing you pull up, you go, oh, I've only got to fill in 1 field. Then before you know it, you're like done with your entire niche. It's like, I'm done. Just click a button. So that's how we made this. You'll see the demo of it next week. So. Well,
and you know, the other two more things. So they're not questions. So I'm just going to make statements. So
okay.
I'll open it up. I'll leave so somebody else can come on. But some copywriters, you know, like they talk about like the art of storytelling, you know, like, and so is Copy Pro. So is that kind of like continuation soap opera, you know, like Monday, you know, this theme went out, and then the loops, and then so that on Tuesday when they get it, it's sort of a continuation of what started on Monday. And I mean, I'm assuming that would be included, right? That whole soap opera storytelling kind of a thing.
Well, not necessarily, because that's actually on the list of things. We add stuff to Email Copy Pro every single month. So part of the sequences we're going to add to it is kind of like an Andre chaperone, but not necessarily, because we don't take other people's stuff. But Andre's written, you know, he came up with the whole soap opera sequence and did a really great job with that. So what we've got is what we do is it's based off of a bucket list, off of a quiz. So like day 1's quiz email will go out, then day 2 says, now yesterday I talked about X, today I'm going to talk about Y. So we do that inside that. We already got that inside of that. So you could take that exact email and just tweak it and make it into just a content email if you want. But we're going to actually come out with a somewhat of a soap opera sequence. The soap opera sequence, though, has to be inside of a machine, has to be varied enough to where you're not constantly putting in data every single time you want to send out an email. So that's what we were trying to avoid. What we were trying to avoid with Email Copy Pro is we've created a niche, and we've only added, let me think through this, we only added 3 fields that we missed from the day when we launched it till now inside the actual 7 sequences of content niche stuff. So in other words, the stuff that populates your email, we only had to add 3 fields, like, oops, I forgot the company name, you know, oops, we forgot that. So like stuff like, but it's literally like, you know, 2 seconds to, oh, my company name is blah, you know, so not a difficult thing to do. But where we add fields all the time is under the content section. There's a section called content, and every single time we create a new content piece, which is what you're talking about, we'd actually have to create a whole new entry that you would just fill it in once, and you would have that for the rest of your life, of course. But we try to avoid having to do that and allow you to just have more instant generation emails. So that's more of a complex question than probably you wanted to hear an answer to.
No, I mean, I'm like you. I could talk about this stuff all day. Yeah. And I love the fact that non-copywriters, marketers can use this. I mean, that's what I love the most, is that, you know, somebody that can just put 2 thoughts together and knows what they're trying to say can use it. I mean, that the structure is there from what I've been gleaning from.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That it's just like I mean, I would love to be able to go to my attorney client and go to his assistant and say, you're going to send 20 emails over the course of the next 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Go at it, and this is what you're going to say. I mean, that kind of a thing. I mean, that would just, to me, it's just a perfect. Okay, I'm gonna say goodbye because I can do this all day.
Well, thank you, Cheryl. Thanks a lot.
You,
All right.
So someone, I think Money Mouth was the next in line, but where'd you go, guy? Dude, come on, come back. So Helen says, after this explanation, I'm looking forward to the machine.
Yeah, thanks.
So yeah, we're building a good buzz here, good excitement, anticipation. We had someone yesterday going like, where can I get it? Where can they get it, John?
They can't. You can't get it yet. Well, you can. You just would pay. You'd pay more, and you don't want to do that. So you can't get it yet because 2.0 comes out. Well, a little bit of a giveaway. It technically maybe will come out tomorrow. I was looking over parts of it, but I'm really particular. So my dev team is like, okay, here we are. And I'm like, nah, that I want to change this one thing. So it's the thing I wanted to change is like going to take them an hour. So, but I still want to go through it. And so I may go through the whole thing and just make sure, because obviously we've tested this thing like night and day. And 2.0 is 1.0 was tested to oblivion. So this is 2.0. So the interface is what I'm particular about. And like, I want the users to have a certain experience. And so that's added weeks onto the schedule. So at the latest, it's going to debut on Tuesday. At the earliest, it will debut on Friday. So there you go.
There you go. So if you guys are here and you're getting awesome, very super excited about Email Copy Pro, there's a reason. It is awesome. It really is awesome. And version 2, like I've been working with version 1. Version 2 is really amazing. So you guys want to stick around and show up to see the demos and how that works. And just as a little reminder, the way that we're going to show you how that works is that John is going to write the emails for you. So we're going to show you how to write an engagement email, and that engagement email will be for one of you guys. So if you want to be the person that gets that email written by the machine and John's brain, all you have to do is leave a comment and tell us why you think Email Copy Pro will be a good fit for you. If you already own it or if you don't own it, why would you want Email Copy Pro? And so let's dive into Vicky. Hey, Vicky. See if you can unmute yourself. I'll unmute you. Let's see. There you go.
Vicky?
Nah, no mic.
Oh, no. Where are you?
Yeah, we can see you, but we can't hear you. I think your mic is not working because you were unmuted. Yeah, and we can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
But you can type whatever you want to say, and we can hear.
Well, this counts. She came on, so I wanted to make sure she gets the video. So make sure that happens. But it's not her fault. The mic isn't working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but if you have any question and you want us to answer it right now because you were here, just put it in the comments, and we'll answer it.
Yeah.
So, did I hear you? Did I hear it? No.
Hmm?
No, I thought I heard her for a second. Okay, so Antonio is asking, here's where I'd like to have help. I'm connecting with people on LinkedIn to sell marketing services and would like to get some help with how to create follow-up campaigns to convert them into clients. I'm sure this is the right platform for that, but you want to give it a try?
Well, that's what we created. This is what it's created for. Yeah. So it's
okay, cool.
Whole sequences, 21-day indoctrination sequences, which is indoctrination is all inspirational content, which is geared towards 21 days to get someone from a funnel into buying something. So, and then we have follow-up sequences for customers, follow-up sequences for upsells, and we're just adding to this every single month. So what we do, by the way, I do this in a unique way. I think there's not another. Maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe Russell Brunson may do this, but I don't know. There's not a lot of guys out there that do weekly calls with their customers, and this is the only week I haven't been doing it, only because we're doing this, and my voice is really I'm barely hanging in there, guys. So it's like, you know, bad time to get sick. It really is a bad time to get sick. But on top of training and working and all that stuff, it's like my immune system's been taking a beating right now. But yeah, it's like I go out on a weekly call with my customers, and we answer all your questions, but it's me on the call, except for a few times during where I can't make it, like if I'm traveling or something. But it's like Leanne's, I think, done 2 of the calls herself, and the rest of them are all me and Leanne, or me and Travis. And yeah, so we give you that kind of hands-on feel to things, which is a little bit unique. So as the reason I'm bringing that up is because as you're saying, I'm looking for an X sequence, or just like what was just told to me that Cheryl just said, I'm looking for the soap opera sequence. Well, we can say, oh, okay, well, now that we know that that's hotter on the list for people, we can put that up in the queue and get that soap opera sequence added to the Email Copy Pro engine the following month. So like if you had a sequence and you say, okay, we want another sequence, and everybody votes it up, that's how we determine what comes next. So everybody wanted the engagement. We have a certain engagement, a re-engagement sequence that's going live this week, and so everybody wanted that. So yeah, that's what we do. We have a whole team that does it, and that's what's really cool about it, is that you can come on and share your concerns, and we'll coach you through it.
That's super awesome, and yeah, not many people do that. So before I'm jumping into, is it Money Mouth that joined us back? There's a question on Facebook. Someone says, Scott Aschenbaugh or something. If we already have Email Copy Pro, do we automatically get the updates that are coming in 2.0? Everybody's excited about the 2.0.
Yes, for $1 million. No, of course you. Yeah. You get it. Not only do you get it, you get the 2.0. The only thing that you would ever pay for extra with Email Copy Pro is if we add on Webinar Copy Pro or VSL Copy Pro, or we're going to add on a monthly service where we provide content. And right now, Digital Marketer is providing content for people, Brian Dice's company, for $7,500 a month. So they actually write content for people for that kind of money. Well, that's great if you can afford $7,500 a month. And I will go out on a limb here and say probably most of us would not want to do that. So what we've done is take our own really kick-ass engine, which you'll see when I demo this thing next week, and we're going to add what's called the library feature, and that's going to be added in, I think, 6 weeks or something like that. Now that would be an add-on, and you can actually get all your content, like tons of value, like content that's not like, you've got this like I forget the name of it now, but it's like general release content. It's like sorry, I'm having to rub my eyes, guys. I'm like hanging in there today, man. I'm like I feel like I'm battling the flu, and I'm in there. But we can provide content that's so much stronger than content that's like just your general blah blah content that you can get online. Like there's content service providers that charge between $100 and $400 a month to provide content that's like, just really generic stuff. And our content is much more specific. And of course, we can use the tools in the software coding that we already have to pull in all your dynamic variables. So it sounds just like you wrote it. It's just like freaking epic, So we're going to add that on. That will be an add-on feature. But again, you can make your own content. Right now, we have the content tab, which you'll see, where you have to go in and create your own. But you follow our formula, then it spits out the email, of course. But this will be like you don't even need to go in and click anything. You just go to the library, go, I want to send this one. And you copy paste it into your email client, and off it goes. So that would be an additional thing naturally, because it's additional service. But no, the 2.0 upgrade is not only free for you, everything new in there. You keep all the data that you already have, so you're not going to lose anything. Of course, it's just that the things are going to look different. It's so much cleaner looking, and it also, on top of being cleaner looking, it's so much easier to navigate. So you'll see what I'm talking about when I demo it. It's like we drill down using the Epic system now. And we ask you, what do you want? What email do you want? Do you want to engage, promote, inspire, or do you want a consumption email? And you click it and you say, okay, I want to promote to somebody else's offer, or I want to promote my own offer. Okay, I want a webinar. I want to do, I'm running a webinar. I'm running to a video sales letter. You click it, and then all the emails that run to sales pages. So that's really super cool and very convenient, so that you don't see like what you see right now, which is what we had, and it was the only way we could do it when we first released it in the beta version and in 1.0. You just saw like 150 emails just all at once, right? Unless we give you a way to narrow that down, but this is a way that that not only does it narrow it down for you, but it actually prompts you through this whole sequence. And then of course you can just select, I want an entire sequence, and then it creates the entire sequence for you. So it's really slick. It's
amazing. So before you're sick, let's get to is okay. So Money Mouth, you have to tell me what your name is. 'Cause here you are.
Hey, what's up?
Hey man, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. So you kind of answered a good portion of my question, but what I was doing for a while was kind of duplicating the whole Facebook to strategy session thing that a lot of folks have been doing, and I kind of duplicated that, if you will, or attempted to, coming from LinkedIn, and I didn't realize that I was actually defying gravity, actually. Because what I was doing, I was literally going out to people cold on LinkedIn. They respond. I'd set up a call with them and get them on what I would call a strategy call and sell them a $5,000 to $10,000 program. And you know, I sold a few of those, and I'm thinking, well, hey, this is a great business. But it kind of dropped off, and I'm thinking, man, you know, what's going on? Am my sales off, etc. So I went out to a couple of my mastermind buddies, and they said, well, hold on a minute, explain again what you were doing. You were going to people cold and selling them a $5,000 program. And they're like, dude, can I hire you to sell my stuff?
Right.
So what I kind of realized was, I guess for all practical purposes, I might have kind of lucked out, if you will, with several of the clients that I've got in the door. Because really what I needed to be doing was building a relationship with these guys. And what I was doing was kind of one and done, you know. So if I got them on the call and I didn't close them, no follow-up, nothing from there. So and then I was even having challenges getting folks on the phone for a while. So that's kind of where the question came from, because again, like I said, I was trying to duplicate the whole Facebook to automated webinar thing to strategy session, but just trying to kind of condense it down using LinkedIn. But I do realize now that I've got to have some type of follow-up in order to sell a $10,000 program.
Oh, sorry, there you go. That's you.
Oh, sorry about that. So I can tell you a couple things that you may want to consider is, so I know guys that are doing they want to do the strategy session, which is a great way to do this if you're like a one-man shop or if you got like a whole staff to do it, right? And you're selling $5,000 to $20,000 courses where you can afford that call, right? Which it sounds like that's what you're doing. So one thing you can do that you might want to consider doing is getting them from the LinkedIn into a webinar. And then the webinar is literally a call to the strategy session. So that sounds like a really risky thing to do. I mean, but the friends of mine that are doing it, they're just killing it with this. And I remember talking to Russell back when Russell Brunson, when he was right in the middle of, like, he was trying to get ClickFunnels off the ground, and he was still doing his high-end coaching stuff, and he still does that. But he was doing that with a webinar, and he would like say, hey, call this number for a strategy session. And he was getting like insane amount of people to call and set up a session. And he'd close like 20 to 30% of the people that would call in versus like 5%, at most from a webinar with that kind of money. So I really think, and he's not the only one I know using it. Alex Mendoza and a couple other guys I know are using it. So that you might want to consider that. And so in that sequence, we actually obviously have a lot of webinar type of stuff. And then you could follow up with people that didn't set the strategy session and just alter the email to read, instead of like, go here and get this now, like call this number to get my strategy session. So that's what I would totally do. Yeah. Even if it requires like email copy for my goal. But when I created it was that it's so funny. It's like I get about 100 customers a day. It would probably tell me this if I asked them all. I was like, how much of this do you have to edit to actually send out? In other words, where the grammar's off or where the verb tenses are off or whatever. And they're like, hardly anything. Like most of the time it's just click and send. But in this case, I would like take the existing emails that work for webinars, and until we go in and change the platform where you can actually select, you can actually put in whatever you want. You can say like, call this number for set up a strategy session. And that's all you'd have to change. And you could change it one time in your niche and you're done. And so you could use that same strategy. And then after the webinar, if they don't take action, you send them that. If they do take action, of course, you take the call. So.
Gotcha. Thanks. I really appreciate it.
Hey, you got it. It's also really inspirational to hear. So congratulations. Yeah. If you're selling something at $5,000 and you're doing it off a cold call, you're doing something right. But now to get those numbers up there, man, I think we get them up there using that webinar strategy.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks a lot.
You got it. Thanks.
So we're going to finish with what Vicky was trying to say. She said, I just wanted to say I love your program. I've been in it for a while, and you have answered all our questions, and it helped us so much.
Oh, cool.
I can see us growing every day with this. And then we have a comment on Facebook from Scott that says, I still sit in on everything that John teaches. Just trying to drink from the fire hose here. So
thanks, man.
yeah, it's awesome. So because you're sick, let's let you go early and talk about tomorrow about consumption. So
yeah, we'll talk about hopefully I don't have consumption. That's for anyone that's over 40, you might get a laugh out of that. You have to be over 100 to actually get it, I think. But it's like, anyway, that was just an old-timey disease. But yeah, consumption in Epic email is not a disease. I have a cold, I'm pretty sure. So consumption is again, you go from your promote, which is your second step, and anyone that doesn't buy, you put them into the inspire sequence, which we did today. And anyone who did buy, you put them into a consumption sequence that's going to lead into, we're gonna indoctrinate your customers into taking action, okay, following through. The first thing you want to do, here's the next thing you want to do, and it's going to be an ascension series as well. So, and we're just adding to this ascension series all the time. So it's like, hey, if you bought X, which you did, you might love Y. So you're ascending them to a higher dollar product. So that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow, and that's assuming my voice is going to allow that to happen, but yeah. I think it will. Fingers crossed. So, yeah.
Oh, well, and so last thing, we have people asking, do they need to send you essays to be considered to choose them to write the engagement email? So no.
Yeah. What is it? I forget the quote on being brevity is the godfather of genius or something like that. Yeah. So you can be brief and you can be just right to the point, and that's awesome. So.
Yeah, and just leave those in the comments. So we'll be reading the comments. So we're going to have 4 emails, right? Engage, inspire, promote, and consume. And we're going to choose one person for each. So if you want a specific one, just be like, hey, I want a specific one, and this is why this is so great.
Yeah.
Right? And then Helen is saying, I believe I would need email copy pro system. I can't write content for the life of me. So Headway say it's great also to help you become a better at writing too. So this is exciting. Everybody's like, okay, when do we see it? Then when do we see it? So they have to wait 2 more days, right?
They have to wait at least 2 more days. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, and that's assuming I don't like wake up with consumption tomorrow, and you have to wait 4. So it's like, I'm kidding.
So guys, apply everything that you learned here today. Know what kind of micro commitments you want your audience to take. You already know how to inspire and what topics you would like to inspire them. Like, do you want a quiz, or do you want, what else did we have there? We had a bunch of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Review or social media or stories. Like, decide what it is, decide what the micro commitment, and tomorrow John will show you how to move them into consumption. So same place, same time. Leave your comments to win, and sleep well, right?
I will. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining.